Right, so heating for this guy, we have, this bulb is a Exoterra Sunglow Tight Beam. I can't remember whether it's a 75 watt or 100 watt, I think it's probably 100 watt. That gives me about a between 34 and 36 C basking spot throughout the day and a bit into the evening. We're also going to be using the Pro Rep holder and these new tiny little ceramics. I wanted to test these out because ceramics can dig into your space, to be honest, so I wanted to just test this out. I can't remember who makes this. No, I can't remember. I think this is only a 40 or 50 watt. Like I say, this is more just an experiment. Like, I wanted to see what this actually produces heat-wise. And, you know, I prefer the lower form factors, you know. It's going to take nowhere near as much space up, even with the cage. You know, it's not going to seem quite as bad, because with the smaller emitter, I can use a smaller cage. But if this turns out to be no good, I've got all kinds of ceramic lamps, so I've got this one on backup as well. I think this is 100 watt. So, just out of interest, one thing to bear in mind, if you've never used ceramic heaters before, when you first turn them on especially, you do get a sort of a clicking, cracking sort of sound, so don't panic, that is quite normal. It usually only happens the first 2 or 3 times, probably not even that you'll use it. Something else as well, this can take a 300 watt max load. Obviously I'm not going to put a 300 watt ceramic on here because probably set fire to the place, but yeah, so always check what your power allowance is basically. And to be honest, I'd always overshoot with like stats and stuff like that. If you get a stat that can take 100 watts, don't go putting 100 watts on it. go like half. It's just a safety barrier. Like, you know, if you've been in the hobby any kind of length of time, you'll have heard plenty of horror stories. Things malfunction, things go wrong, things get overlooked, people become complacent, you know, bad things can happen. So just, you know, don't go to your absolute max on anything. For this ceramic, I'm just going to use this basic on-off stat microclimate. It's 100 watt max load between 19 and 35 C, so that's perfect for me. It's just a basic little stat, nothing mental. I'll be upgrading to the Pro Evo soon enough to control. It'll control this whole tank on its own, so that's me, what I'm going to do. But for right now, I'm going to use that for this ceramic, just to maintain the ambient temperature. That's going to be mounted roughly in the middle of the tank. So the ambient temperature here is going to be somewhere in the realm of, say, 28 to 29, 30 C all the time. This constant, it won't go off at night or anything like that, it'll just hold that constant. And this main bulb here, basking spot, being between sort of 34, 36 throughout the day, and that will just shut off at night. So then it'll just be down to this and whatever. Obviously when I've got the decor and that in here, there'll be rocks and stuff around here that have been heating up throughout the day. That'll help this guy to like thermoregulate, and it'll seem more natural to him, because obviously they don't have normally one spot that's just hot constantly. Like I say, this is going to be just ambient, so like a room temperature. At night this area will cool down. This area is going to be sort of intermediate all the time. And we'll have this, you know, it'll all make sense when I've got the decor in. Right guys, I thought I'd just make a couple more points about thermostats and stuff. There's for your 3 main types. You got your on-off stat, dimmer stat, pull stat. Your on-off stat, that's the most basic, generally speaking the cheapest one you can get. They don't usually go to much of a high wattage, and they really should be kept to things like heat mats, very low wattage ceramics, although there are better scenarios for that. You got your dimmer stat. That's really a stat that you probably want to be using on visual heat, so your basking spots and stuff like that, like actual light bulbs. And then you got your pulse stat, which is basically good for anything. It's out of the three, it's probably the king stat. So, but like I say, don't ever use only use dimmers on lights, nothing else. Ideally, only use on-off stats on mats and nothing else, and then pulse stats are good for mats and ceramics. Alright guys, don't forget what I said as well. Don't push your stat to its absolute limits. If you get a 300 watt stat, it might be alright on a 100 watt heat source. If it's mats, you probably go 200. Do you see what I'm saying? So just play it safe. Catch you later. See you a bit.